Hello, magical human. I am here with you today on the back end of my I Am Her, my Reclamation Retreat that I was just co hosting in Sun Peaks this past weekend. And this is my first video podcast. This is just me raw here with you. This is unplanned, unscripted. I just want to share from the heart all of the emotions and the overwhelming sense of gratitude I've had since coming home from this experience. This retreat was all about helping women connect to and remember the innate power and wisdom that we all have. And we did exactly that. Like, my heart feels so full right now because that's exactly what happened this weekend. We watched women choose themselves and come into this space, many who attended by themselves, some who've never tried many of the things that we would be leading them through. And there was this sense of nervousness, excited nervousness, though, because they knew that they were choosing themselves. And to be fully trusted in that way to lead and create this safe and sacred space for women to just fully immerse themselves was so special. And I love to lead from the heart. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I used to be ashamed of part of my story. And I realized over time that my own evolution and a lot of my breakthroughs and a lot of my aha moments came from hearing others share their own lived experience, their own stories. And some of them are similar to my own. And those are the ones where I really realized, oh my gosh, if she could do it, I can do it. And now it's such an honor to be able to share vulnerably and openly and unlock the same in other women. And we open by asking all the women to journal on how they would introduce themselves if they weren't limiting themselves to their typical identities. Like, hi, I'm Robin. When I used to go to networking events, I shared that I had been in banking and corporate banking for quite a few years. And I got such an ick going to any of these networking events because at the time I really was still striving and trying to achieve that pat on the back and that gold star and like fit into the box perfectly, which we all know is just not real human experience. And so the reason why I didn't like attending those events is that I felt like I really had to separate who I was as like this career-driven woman and who I am at my core, like my spiritual beliefs, these things that I now love to lead with. And the example I gave was that I'm Robin. I'm a cycle breaker. I'm a lover of all things magical and mystical. And I believe I'm here to help empower women and shift the paradigm. How often do we hear people speak like this? How often do we hear people lead with like what they love, what lights them up, like those types of conversations? And over the course of the weekend, this really unlocks something interesting. And as I've come back from it and I've been reflecting on it, I was sharing with my husband last night that it was fascinating to me that we went so deep. Like, people were just so vulnerable and open about like just such deep beliefs, like just so vulnerable. Things that you almost never hear, not even from your best friends, with these complete strangers. And that I walked away not even knowing any of those other details about them. Like, many of them, I don't know what they do for work. I don't know, like, any of their other situations, but I feel like I know their soul. And I thought, how cool is that? And hearing these women being nervous to introduce themselves this way, and then it propelling forward, and that getting outside of their comfort zone in this way and trusting us just led into some of the most soul deep conversations I've had in my entire life. And also watching the same happen between all of these women. And I truly believe that something magical happens when women come together with this collective intention and this collective energy and are just so willing to put themselves out there. They are so willing to like bare their soul and their heart in the pursuit of their own healing, their own evolution. And it was absolutely incredible. Like, I don't actually even have words to describe it. And I felt so fulfilled, so grateful, so content. And on the last day, well, I actually started the retreat out crying, telling my story, and I no longer apologize for my tears. They just come part and parcel with me allowing myself to be open. But to even see Roz fully step up into this role, even though she was nervous, and she absolutely killed it. Like, everyone connected so deeply with each other. And Jolene, everything that she brought was exactly what I expected. And I didn't feel the need to know exactly what she was speaking about. I just knew that there was alignment there, and it couldn't have been more perfect. Like, to describe it as divinely orchestrated is the only way I can really articulate how it felt. Because having not planned out, just general topic, but not planned out with each other how the segues would work, it just so happened that where we ended with one workshop was exactly where we had already planned to begin with the next. And this type of flow happens when everything's meant to be and when you're so supported by the universe. And this flowed right into the Future Self dinner. And to see this particular part of the retreat come to life was just otherworldly for me. I've never heard of something like this. I've never seen it be done somewhere else. It was just an idea that we brought to life. And at this dinner, each woman was having a chance to go be photographed as this future self version of them that they came as. Because I really believe the key is not in acquiring more or becoming someone else. It's shedding all the programming, the expectations, the should, the conditioning, and just allowing ourselves to embody what's already within us. Like, all the answers are already within all these incredible women. That magic, that empowerment, that radiance is already within them. And they chose consciously to show up to the dinner as that version of them. And this opportunity with Roz was just to really anchor that in. And now on the back end, they'll have this image of themselves and anchor in that feeling, because it all comes back to the feelings and the emotions that's radiating out of us. And we went around and shared what was the high, low, and random thing that happened in each and every woman that attended in their day. And for many of them, that 5 minutes with Roz was the highlight. That 5 minutes of being fully seen and fully comfortable and just fully expressed was the highlight. She has this incredible power to just make people feel seen and feel beautiful and feel fully themselves without fear of judgment, without fear of rejection. And I'm like, what a beautiful gift. Like, that brought me to tears. We also had a beautiful guest at our Future Self dinner, Michelle Morrison. If you listen to this podcast, you already know I freaking love Michelle. She is one of my favorite humans. She's such a talented psychic medium and intuitive healer and coach, and just all over. She's just the pure essence and embodiment of spreading light in this world. And she is the only person I would want to bring in midway in a retreat to share in any of the experiences. And it was absolutely incredible to have her energy there and to have her share a few words of wisdom. And it was just amazing. Everything just fit perfectly. And yesterday, or rather on Sunday, as we were closing out and as people were sharing their takeaways and their reflections of how this weekend and this retreat and all of the facilitators and all of the participants just showing up so fully for themselves, how that impacted each and every person there, I had my tissues. I was like crying on and off all morning, tears of just my heart being touched, hearing other people's stories and realizing the power that this weekend held and the shifts that this helped create. I believe that this weekend really was a catalyst of change for many of these women. And to now be on the back end of that and have all these beautiful messages come in. I received one last night that brought me to tears the second I saw it. It was probably the most beautiful compliment I've ever received because it was complimenting me, like my soul, my essence. And it was so beautiful. And I was just like this. And my girls were saying, "Be happy, mama." And I was explaining to them that sometimes our big emotions are just so overwhelming with joy and gratitude that like there's nowhere else for it to go but pour out. And I also felt that exact same way about walking in the door at 7 p.m. on Sunday night after a long weekend and a long drive home and seeing my kids and realizing like my heart is full to the brim. I was experiencing the probably some of the most fulfillment I've ever felt. And I had so much to pour in to my family. Like I started tearing up just from the gratitude I felt for them in that moment. And I thought, what if I hadn't have given myself this opportunity to share my heart in this way and come home with my cup so full? And I reflected on the fact that the ripple effect of this weekend, of each of these women choosing to invest in themselves, both time, money, heart, soul, like everything, willing to put it all out there. The ripple effect of them all going back into their lives, into their families is so profound. And one of the things we talked about a lot is that it's not these big, like landslide shifts that you have to do to make any change in your life. It's really focusing on those micro shifts, those micro steps that compound. Each day you make a slightly different choice than the day before. You are propelling yourself forward and you are moving towards that version, that future version of yourself that you are calling forward. You are becoming an energetic match to her and you are bringing all those aspects out of you because it's all in you. You are always connected to your higher self. You are always divinely supported. It's like, are you listening? And are you tapping into that? And are you tuning in? And what I witnessed and noticed in all these women processing through and sharing is that there were such common threads and common themes among everyone. And this is why I think when women come together and are able to share so openly, it makes us all realize how similar we are. Yes, we all have our own unique circumstances and our own unique challenges, but it really made everyone see and experience firsthand that yes, our challenges and our circumstances are different, but the lessons and the beliefs behind them are so similar. And you hear about oneness a lot, and it's taken me a long time to really understand what that means. When, you hear that we are all one, we are all connected, that's what it means. Like, we all have such beautiful souls, and some of us have more layers of armor that we've put on to protect ourselves depending on our life experience and the journey and the path that our soul chose here. But I really deeply believe and witnessed this weekend that we are all so similar. We're more similar than we know. And when we allow ourselves that opportunity to so freely connect and so deeply connect with others, that oneness becomes so obvious. And it also allows us to see others in a more beautiful light, and then also realize that what we admire in others and what we are so proud of others in being courageous to share or courageous to walk through or courageous to change is also in us. So what we admire in others is a mirror for what we have within us. And also what we judge in others is what we judge in ourselves. And what a beautiful mirror. And so I'm just feeling so content, so fulfilled, and so lit up that I want to share more. I want to do this more. Like, that was my confirmation that stepping forward and doing these things, if you have a desire, if you have a dream, if you have something on your heart that you really want to do, there's a reason for that. It is meant to be. And this vision and bringing this to life alongside one of my childhood best friends in the most seamless way possible was incredible. I wouldn't have done it alongside anyone else. Roz and Jolene were absolutely incredible. And we had a sound bath on the first evening by Jamie from Soul Stones. And we had Lacey Hook come in the morning and do morning yoga. And these souls are all such bright lights, and they were such a beautiful part of this whole experience and this journey. And hearing so many women say, like, they have never been to a sound bath, or we went outside and did some grounding, they've never experienced that, or some of them hadn't done yoga before. And these were all things many of them said, like, I'm going to be doing that more. This wasn't the last time. This was definitely the first time, but it wasn't the last time I'm going to be doing that. And that made me so happy, because all of my favorite things that I love and all the favorite things that Roz has done and loved and that has shifted our paths and helped us unfold and like release and shed that armor, we brought it all. And to see others experience that for the first time was nostalgic and also just so inspiring. And we had a beautiful range in ages. Like, I think there was like a 40-year kind of spread of all these women at different ages and stages of their life, all there for a common purpose, a common intention, and just, yeah, so moved because I know how powerful these women are. And helping them remember that was just the most beautiful gift. So I will leave it there. And I'm just feeling so lit up and inspired. So I will be on here a lot more and sharing a lot more, seeing firsthand and witnessing firsthand the impact that each of us shining our unique light and sharing our magic with this world has me even more convicted and committed to this path I'm on. And yeah, thank you for being here. And what's one little way that you can share a little bit of light today? What's one way that you can share or be open and vulnerable to share a little bit of your own unique magic today? Have a wonderful week, and thank you for spending this time with me.